Not gonna lie, people, my brain is kind of cooked. Not because I've been stroking it to hot Asian women. Not just because of that. Not just that. But when it comes down to it, though, it's just working hard as hell on some house stuff. It's been really annoying, but you already know that story. But when it comes down to it, though, that's still not gonna stop me from doing the video. It's not gonna stop me from keeping the streak alive of just uploading, because the heck you thought this was? That's not how we roll around here, right? But you know what is stopping some growth, honestly? The fact that no one is subbing to the Twitter. Why do we have a Twitter here if no one wants to come through and see if you want to select Symphony's ass cheeks or Blue's ass cheeks? So follow me on Twitter so we can all be weird and wild together. Okay? Okay. But that's obviously not the main point of this video. The main point of this video is that Neverness to Everness. Not gonna sit here and lie. Game looking mad fire. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. I was really thinking, you know, this game is not gonna be that damn great, or it's not gonna catch my attention that hard, because Nanta is a thing that exists, and that still very much is a game that I'm very much looking forward to. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't interested in Neverness to Everness, though, right? Because as you kind of know about the whole situation with me and Wuthering Waves, I'm not gonna lie, I really don't care that much for Wuthering Waves as much as I thought I would. I just don't. And so whenever this game comes through, when it comes to Neverness to Everness, and you know, with all these closed betas that seemingly trying to pop through, and how they're working on the game, and how much information about the game is coming out now, it gets me more amped up and hyped to think that, oh, we might actually get this game sooner than I think we are, right? And if that is the case, then best believe I am going to be here for it. I'm going to be insanely hyped for it, and just absolutely down for the cause. Like, it just is. Also, I'm glad to see a different environment of a game that's not what Genshin does, right? Where it's just like a whole, I guess, like medieval isekai sort of like place. It's not completely medieval, especially anymore, considering the next character is going to be a robot, which look like Labyrinth from Persona 4 Arena. But you know, it is what it is. But still, I'm glad we got like an urban environment, which I ain't gonna lie, even though I'm not like the heaviest into ZZZ, I still love ZZZ because it has like the city aesthetic and the retro vibe and all that sort of stuff. That's what keep me playing the game. Where, you know, something like Neverness to Everness, where it's like open world, basically like a slight GTA mix of things. You know, it sounds like a peak ass time in a game I would try to constantly sit here and play. It's just gonna come down to how I kind of vibe with it, how the feel of it is, and all that sort of stuff that kind of comes with it when the time comes, though, right? So there is going to be definitely that. But they are doing very much a good job as of like showing exactly what this game is, what it's about, and things like that. Because even something like the opening to the game and, you know, the animations of that looks mad saucy, right? I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. Like, I'm very much interested as to why they can't look up at the sky in the city during that whole weird event that happened, right? Well, what's the deal with this chick, and why do I want her in my bed so bad, right? Who is this fine Kudere lolly here, right? And there's so much more. There's so much more to this world that I'm very much being excited by. The prospect of just entering it just looks real good. It just really does, right? Also, I heard that there was like a 50-50 situation that was going on, and apparently there is no 50-50, and everything's gonna be like a Monopoly board, which, how the hell does that work? Is there some sort of catch? We don't necessarily know, but I'm interested regardless. And then it got me thinking too, with something like Neverness to Everness really looking like they're ramping up their work, and hopefully sooner rather than later we'll actually get the game to come out soon. It's just like there's like a lot of options to choose from now. There's like even more options to choose from than there used to be, because like I said before, Genshin, something I'm gonna stick with to the end of the game. It doesn't necessarily matter to me. I love Genshin. That's just gonna be where it is for me. Honkai Star Rail, don't really care too much for that, and pretty much gave up on it like a long time ago, so don't really care. ZZZ, maybe I might stop ZZZ. I don't know. I don't think I will, because there's a lot of things that go in for it, like, again, the retro city vibes, and the character designs and the character personalities too, but the main thing that's not hitting hard for me is obviously the grinding of getting materials. I hate that, again, very much. I fall asleep like legitimately every time I have to do it. And then the story is not necessarily grabbing me to be like, yes, we know exactly where this whole story is going to go or how it's going to shape up or something like that. It's not really grabbing me in that area, which is a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is, and that's just how it is for me. But still, I don't think I'm going to give it up too easily, right? I think ZZZ still has a lot of life in it for me to continue wanting to play it. Plus, there's a lot of big titty and big booba characters out there and big ass characters that's out there, and there's just no way I'm gonna sit here and not want to play that. There's no way, right? Wooba, we already said I'm pretty much ready for something else, and yeah, that's just kind of how it is. So Neverness to Everness coming through and kick in, we here for it. But then you got something like, again, Silver Palace, which is, I guess like the 20s type London sort of setting, which is, that's also like a damn thing. Then you also get something like, I think a new game called like Rewind Cadence or something like that, which is like a D&D kind of open worldish game, which is a bit weird, right? Not into D&D myself, don't really care for it, but maybe it might be something different to make me actually care for it and be like, oh, now this is different. And then in the future, you got things like, again, Anansa coming through, and there's like I think there's like a whole nother Hoyoverse game that's supposed to be getting made sometime later, and it's just like there's just so many more options in the future that you can absolutely get into, and it's all really dang good, right? And you will hope all these games will be very good, and they can actually be, doing the goodest things of the planet, and that was Thunder in the background. Hello, Thunder. But when it comes down to it, though, it's just a wait and see approach. Still, regardless, I'm mainly just here for, 2 games and 2 games only, if I'm gonna be real. And that is like Enansa and then Neverness to Everness, for sure. I think Silver Palace is also a maybe because of how wild it is and how brutal these anime girls just start beating the shit out of other people. But we'll have to see. I don't know. We'll definitely have to see when it comes down to it. But still, just ultimately and regardless, NTE got me by kind of like a slight bit of a chokehold. I'm not gonna sit here and lie, right? And the hoes look mad fine in that game too, so that's another thing to add into it. But really, I guess that's all I wanted to say for this video. Just kind of, again, seeing how much NTE really is like getting a lot of like, interest and drumming up a lot of like new stuff and showing how they are improving the game and stuff like that. It's just nice to see, and more options of gacha to play. It's never really a bad thing when it comes down to it, at least for me, because honestly, it's been the most enjoyable stuff of gaming for me personally for the past like 5 years, which is a little wild to say, but it's also it's just been that way. That's just how it's been, right? But anyway, hopefully you still enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow my socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's my boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.